Example 5, a flight leaves New York at 8 p.m. and arrives in Paris at 12 noon. The 16-hour difference includes the flight time plus the change in time zones. The return flight leaves Paris at 1 p.m. and arrives at New York at 3 p.m. The 2-hour difference includes flight time minus time zones and no wind. Find the actual flight time eastward and the difference in time zones. A lot of students struggle with story problems because it's just a lot of information, and I get it, okay? So let's think about how to attack it. I think a good thing that you can do is start with the question part, or start with the end part, because a lot of the times students struggle because they don't know what they're finding, and a lot of the times the last sentence or the sentence with the question mark in it or whatever, that's going to tell you what you're finding. So we're finding flight time and the difference in time zones. Okay, so that, you want to go back and reread the problem with that in mind, because those are your variables. I might use F for flight time and T for time zones. And if I go back and reread the problem, that might make it make sense. I might be able to pick out some math and put in some variables. Okay, so one thing that I read when I see all these times, 8 p.m., 12 noon, 1 p.m., 3 p.m. Those numbers are kind of just noise, I guess. So 16-hour difference includes flight time plus the change in time zone. So check it out. Right here, they're pretty much telling you an equation. Flight time was F and time zone was T. It says flight time plus time zone. That's an equation. It's going to equal 16. You can see F plus T equals 16. The flight time plus the time zone is equal to 16. Okay? So we keep reading, and you can almost ignore the times completely, 1 p.m., 3 p.m. And then you get to something else that says flight time minus time zones. All right? And this word minus, the words like plus or minus or something, those should really get your attention. Flight time minus the time zone, that says F minus T. And that was a 2-hour difference. And so there we have it. If we have two equations with two variables, we're all set. We're ready to go. Okay? That's what it takes to solve a system is if you have, if you had 4 equations, you would need 4 variables. But we only have 2 equations. We have 2 variables. We should be able to solve this. Okay? We're going to use the Echelon method. I know this is set up for elimination. Some of you are looking at this and we did this in, this was an easy Algebra 1 problem. We did it elimination. The T and the T would eliminate. This is an easy solve by elimination. But we're learning about Echelon method here, so I want to do Echelon method. Echelon method has that triangle. Remember that. I will be looking for that on the homework. So we have to eliminate the bottom F using the F that's inside the triangle. We want to use row operations to do that. So really it's pretty easy because all you have to do is subtract. If you take F minus F, you're going to get 0. So I'm going to do row 2 minus row 1. If somebody said, well, what if you do row 1 minus row 2? That'll work too. As long as you're producing 0, it'll work. There are lots of other things you can do, but that's just the way that I chose. The top row doesn't need to change at all. F plus T equals 16. But the bottom row, I'm going to apply my rule. Row 2 minus row 1, that's 0. I'm going to leave it blank there and go right there. Okay. Row 2 is negative T minus row 1. That's going to be negative 2T. And row 2 is 2 minus 16. 2 minus 16 is negative 14. So once you have your triangular form, remember there's nothing there. That's not there. Okay? You can tell it's going to be an easy solve from here because look at the bottom row. We can see that bottom row. I can solve that, divide by negative 2. I can see that T is equal to 7. And if I plug in that 7, my back substitution, F plus 7 equals 16. Subtract that 7 over, you can see F equals 9. So the flight time is 9 hours. And the difference in time zones is 7 hours.